As 2025 came to an end, Vladimir Putin and the people around him were trying very hard to sell one message to the West, that Ukraine's defeat was inevitable and that a peace deal favoring Russia should be accepted before it was too late. But as 2026 began, reality delivered a very different picture. Instead of collapsing, Ukraine has shown that it is more capable, more determined, and more dangerous to Russia than ever before. In fact, the war Putin started is now spreading deep inside Russian territory, and the first week of 2026 made that painfully clear. January 6th turned into a nightmare night for the Kremlin. In the early hours, Ukraine launched a massive wave of long-range drones that crossed hundreds of miles of Russian airspace and struck key military and energy targets. These attacks were not symbolic. They were calculated, strategic, and aimed straight at the heart of Russia's war machine, sending a clear message that Ukraine still has plenty of fight left. One of the first places to feel the impact was the Russian city of Penza, located nearly 400 miles southeast of Moscow. Throughout the night, residents reported a series of loud explosions that shook buildings and echoed across the city. Importantly, these blasts were not centered on residential areas. Local reports suggest that Ukrainian drones struck industrial sites, believed to be linked to Russia's military supply chain. Around 10 explosions were heard, with residents describing bright flashes in the sky and the distinct buzzing sound of drones just moments before the blasts. Monitoring groups later suggested that facilities such as the biosynthese factory, a bearing plant, and a site known as GATP-2 Penza may have been targeted. While Russian authorities remained silent, images shared online showed scorched ground consistent with drone strikes. The lack of official confirmation itself has become a familiar pattern, as Moscow continues to downplay or deny damage caused by Ukrainian attacks. Not long after Penza, Ukrainian drones reached even deeper into Russian territory. Around 5 a.m. local time, explosions were reported in Sterlitamak, a city in the Republic of Bashkortostan. This location is home to the Sterlitamak Oil and Gas Chemical Plant, a massive petrochemical facility that produces aviation fuel components, rubber, and additives essential for Russian military aircraft. Ukraine had already targeted this plant once before, and its return suggests a clear intent to disrupt Russia's fuel and aviation supply chains. Even though Russia claimed its air defenses intercepted the drones, residents reported explosions and thick smoke rising in the distance. Once again, the official narrative struggled to explain how falling fragments could cause such significant damage. Whether the plant was fully disabled or not, Ukraine demonstrated that it can repeatedly threaten strategic energy infrastructure far from the front lines. The most significant strike of the night, however, came in Russia's Kostroma region. Ukrainian drones successfully hit the 100th arsenal of the main missile and artillery directorate, a critical ammunition storage and distribution facility. Smoke was seen rising from the site, and Russian authorities evacuated nearby areas as explosions reportedly continued for hours. Ukraine's general staff later confirmed that the target had been hit, emphasizing the importance of the arsenal in supplying Russian ground forces, airborne units, and missile systems. This strike alone could have serious consequences. Any ammunition destroyed at the Kostroma facility is ammunition that will never reach Russian soldiers on the front lines. Fewer shells, fewer missiles, and fewer bullets directly translate into reduced pressure on Ukrainian defenses. The success of this operation also highlighted how far Ukraine's drone technology has advanced, with drones traveling nearly 900 kilometers to reach their target. Ukraine was still not finished. On the same night, drones struck Russia's Lipetsk region, just south of Moscow. The target this time was an oil storage facility in the city of Usman. Local authorities confirmed a fire at an industrial site, and municipal officials later acknowledged that the oil base had been hit. Ukraine's military confirmed the strike, stating that it was part of a broader effort to reduce Russia's military-economic potential. Russian officials once again insisted that air defenses intercepted most of the drones, claiming that 129 were shot down across the country that night. Yet fires, explosions, and evacuations told a different story. Additional drone activity was reported near sensitive sites in Yaroslav, Tver, Voronezh, and Leningrad regions, highlighting just how widespread Ukraine's operations have become. What makes these attacks especially significant is their frequency. According to Reuters, Ukraine has launched long-range drone strikes against Russia every single day of 2026 so far. Moscow itself has become a regular target, with airports closing and air defenses repeatedly activated. This marks a clear shift in Ukraine's strategy, from occasional symbolic strikes to sustained pressure designed to exhaust Russia's military, economy, and air defense systems. Ukraine's ability to maintain this tempo is backed by a massive increase in domestic drone production. Ukrainian manufacturers are now producing thousands of long-range drones every month at a fraction of the cost of traditional missiles. These drones are cheap, effective, and capable of traveling more than 1,000 kilometers, allowing Ukraine to hit deep inside Russian territory again and again. At the same time, Ukraine is expanding its missile capabilities. Nearly all of its long-range missiles are now domestically produced, with additional support coming from Western partners. New missile systems expected later in 2026 could further strengthen Ukraine's ability to strike high-value targets while limiting Russia's options. According to Ukrainian military leaders, deep strikes in 2025 alone caused more than $21 billion in damage to Russia's economy. With the pace seen in early 2026, that figure could be shattered. Energy facilities, ammunition depots, logistics hubs, and industrial plants are all under constant threat, pushing Russia closer toward economic strain and potential recession. The message from Ukraine is clear. This war is not winding down. Instead, it is entering a new phase where Russia can no longer feel safe behind its borders. Far from being exhausted, Ukraine appears to be escalating its long-range campaign with precision, planning, and growing confidence. If Putin believed that Ukraine was running out of options, the events of January 6th prove the opposite. Ukraine is not just surviving, it is adapting, innovating, and striking back harder than ever before. If you want to stay updated on how this conflict is evolving and what it means for global security, make sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for our upcoming analysis on Ukraine's expanding deep strike capabilities in 2026.